Chapter 1 Writing Portfolios. Put simply, your 102 course has one big project that you will work on for the entire course, the writing portfolio. Portfolios have been around for a long time and actually exist in many different disciplines. Musicians use portfolios, artists use portfolios, even financial experts might advise customers about investment portfolios. In each case, you might think of a portfolio as a collection of things, e.g., songs, paintings, or investments that demonstrate something about the person who collected them. In writing instruction, portfolios started getting attention almost 40 years ago as teachers and researchers began to see the benefits that they offered for developing writers. One of these benefits is that portfolios are longitudinal in nature, meaning that they can show a student's growth over time. Yancey 102. For example, in this class, would you rather be graded on your work at the beginning of the course when you're still learning and trying new ideas, or at the end when you've had a chance to practice new ideas and overcome mistakes? Another benefit of portfolios is that they often show range. Yancey 103. For example, a professional writer's portfolio might include the different types of writing the person has done, including editorial, press releases, instruction manuals, and so on. A third reason portfolios are beneficial is that they are almost always collaborative. Yankee Y 103. As artists or investment bankers develop, they often gain new ideas, insights, and knowledge from those around them, including other artists or investors, mentors, and advisors. The same is true for writing. As you develop your portfolio, you will have many chances to benefit from the ideas and insights of other writers like your classmates and teacher. A portfolio is your opportunity to demonstrate that learning by revising and refining your work. 1. Chapter 1 Notes Activity, the Personal Portfolio. Imagine a portfolio of your life to this point. Using the questions below, jot down some ideas that help you describe what a portfolio of your life would look like and what it would include. What would you want your audience to do, think, or feel about you after reading it? What things would you put into your portfolio in order to make sure your audience saw you the way you wanted them to? How would you arrange it? What order would you put things in? What sorts of context would you need to add? In other words, what things in your portfolio do you think you would need to explain? If you could choose anything, what form would you choose for your portfolio? A binder, a book, a movie, a poster. Now take a few minutes to share some of your ideas with your classmates. Reflection and the writing process. In a portfolio-based course like this one, reflection plays a major role in identifying and describing the things students learn. For example, just by thinking about and describing your writing process, the steps you take when you have a writing project to complete, you might realize things about how you work and what works best for you. Just like you, Cassandra is a writer. Take a look at her reflection on her writing process. I can honestly say that I've never really thought deeply about my writing process before. It's just something that I've always done. I can say, looking back, that my writing process changed in my second year of my undergrad. During the fall semester, I took a literature class that truly began my education on theory. It's just something that I've always done. I can say, looking back, that my writing process changed in my second year of my undergrad. During the fall semester, I took a literature class that truly began my education on theory. Although I didn't realize it at the time, my writing process really developed during the time. Integrating theory and deeper insights into my writing taught me about the amount of time and energy that needed to be invested into my construction of really thoughtful writing. It's not something that I could produce, willy-nilly, or on the spot. This is when my writing process truly began to develop into a process that took lots of time and effort. I usually am motivated to write and engage more with my work when I'm able to write on something that interests me. I find it very difficult to force myself to write if I'm not engrossed with the subject matter. I also really value the process of outlining, and I create detailed outlines for every single paper that I write. An outline provides me with a map to follow as I work through my thoughts. It can be difficult. 2. Writing portfolios. Occasion though, if my writing starts to stray down a different path than I originally intended. As my thoughts develop, they may not match that outline, so I have to know when to restructure it. After completing a piece of writing, I usually have to distance myself from it, if time allows. I need to focus on other things and return to it later with a fresh perspective. Usually, my editing and revision process doesn't constitute major changes. I try to maintain a really strong awareness during the writing process that helps me avoid major chongs in the revision process, although this isn't true 100% of the time. As I'm writing this, I'm realizing that self-reflection and awareness of my invention is a huge part of my writing process. I can honestly say that I never really thought of myself as that introspective during the writing process, but I'm pleasantly surprised to find that I am. Now that you've read Cassandra's reflection, take a few moments to think about these questions. What do you notice about Cassandra's reflection? What sticks out to you the most? In terms of writing process, what do you think you have in common with her? What do you think you do differently? Take a moment to discuss your answers with your peers or your instructor. Note, there is one thing in Cassandra's reflection that we especially want to make sure you notice. Look closely at the last paragraph. Do you see this phrase, as I'm writing, I'm realizing? What Cassandra has demonstrated is that the act of writing can actually lead you to new ideas, realizations, and connections. That will be one of our goals throughout the entire course. Notes 3. Chapter 1 Notes Activity. What's your writing process? Now that you've read Cassandra's reflection on her writing process, use this page to